Can you believe it? We're already on episode 10. We're in the double digits. And I honestly would have never thought that I would actually make it this far with the series. But here I am, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. I hope you guys are too. So welcome back to Parkitect. It's a bit of a different intro, but I figured since it's episode 10 that it deserves, a little bit different. And this one is going to be a little bit shorter. The main focus for this one is the first coaster that we're going to add to this park. And that'll pretty much be it. And I think this is probably one of the best coasters I've done. And I honestly can't remember what kind of coaster it was. I think it was a mine train. So it kind of goes with that theme for the whole Yeehaw Park. But yeah, welcome back to Yeehaw Park. Right now I'm just throwing in some lighting. The time lapse that is going on right now is a little bit slower. That's because I don't have as much footage that I expected to have. So I had to cut it up a little bit, and this is pretty much what is left over from that cutout portion. And if you hear anything in the background, I apologize. There's a train, and my AC makes a loud buzzing noise. If not, then, it's all good. So yeah, the series is doing pretty well, in my opinion. I am extremely excited for not only the upcoming episodes, but some other series ideas that I have. I already mentioned the City Skylines one, and I would definitely like to do that, especially since they just added a new school DLC to it, and I'll try to get around to that whenever I do have the time for that. Right now it's very limited in time. I can only do so much in a day. When you work full-time and you come home and you have to put together some videos, or you stream, and everything like that, you only have a certain amount of time, and I can only do so much. So with that being said, I'll try to get around to it if I can. But I was also kind of thinking about doing a Planet Coaster series. I know I said in a stream that I wasn't really interested in it, but because they have the Planet Zoo game coming out later this year, and I really, really want to do a series on that as well, I kind of think I should play Planet Coaster to get down the gist of how it works, and that way I can go into Planet Zoo knowing the controls and what I should do and everything like that. And even though it's not like a roller coaster kind of tycoon or simulation, it is a simulation, but it's one that I'm actually very excited for. And there's a lot of news going out about it. I think it's going to be at E3 as well, so stay tuned for that. Sometime in June, I think that's when they have it every year, and we'll learn some more about what goes on in the game and how it works, things like that. But I have a pretty good idea of what I would want to do in that game, and maybe even a couple different series, just because I want to try some different things, especially since it is a different type of game. It's not as grid-like as Parkitect, and don't laugh at what I just did right here. It's a joke. I have no idea why I was even doing that. I'm actually just trying to figure out a better way to finish this coaster, and I think I completely scrap a lot of it. And it turns out pretty well. honestly. The size of it and the length and all of it turns out pretty well, and I will be working on the station for it as well, so that's sort of part of this entire video. But anyways, back to Planet Zoo, and just from how detailed the game sounds, there's even things like animal DNA, so each animal is different. And so for instance, a zebra, not all of them will have the same exact pattern on it, and that just blows my mind that, you know, we've made it this far, because all the other zoo tycoon or simulation type, nothing is that detailed to the point where each thing has DNA and each one is completely different from the other. And it's so exciting to think about, and that's the game that I'm mostly hyped for. And maybe, you know, you guys can go check out the trailer if I can remember. I'll link it down below. I intend to link it, but you know, I usually finish the videos and upload it the next day, and I only, you know, can remember so much. And my memory is not amazing, as you already know. Just for instance, in last video, I was supposed to put a picture of that little pub, what I was basing it off of, next to it, and I did do it, but the render failed, believe it or not, the night before. And it wasn't just your regular render failure. This was more so of my laptop side. So pretty much it was Windows saying, hey, we know you have a render going on, but we also have this update that we want to push. And even though you're not at your laptop right now, and even though you have the setting for it turned off, we're just gonna, you know, do a little restart and completely, you know, get rid of the entire render and everything that you had worked on. And so I had only, for some reason, I had forgotten to save that portion of it, and so I was freaking out and trying to get it to render, and I spent, I don't even remember how long, working on that and to get it up in a decent amount of time. And I did finally get it up, but I did forget to add in that little picture that I was supposed to add in. So I do apologize for that. And this, the theme for this one is obviously sort of a Western theme. I was trying to do something a little bit different and odd, per se, as you can tell. I was honestly just basing it off of the top of my head. I was looking at pictures of, I don't want to say like railroad kind of things, but like, or stations rather. It was more so, if you've played Red Dead Redemption, I was sort of thinking about the little post office railroad thing that they had, sort of taking that and just like spinning it a little bit into my own little thing. So it looks nothing like it, but that's what I had in my mind, and so I got this from it. I don't know how. I mean, they don't look anything like each other. And I really, really wish you could do sort of half, what's the word for it? So each thing is on a grid, and you can go up like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. So it's little boxes or cubes. I really wish you could bring it to half, and I'm sure there's a mod for it, because I really wanted to have sort of front porches without the buildings being like huge. And for the most part, I think this is the finished product of it. I might just be adding in some small details and lighting, which I do this every single time. I place these little lanterns like this, and then it turns out they're floating midair. So look at that. Just look at that. They're floating midair. It doesn't look like it when you're placing it, but it kind of, it's all about perspective, I suppose. And I will be streaming, so this video will be up on Thursday. I will be streaming this Sunday some Parkitect. So if you guys watch this video and you're interested in hopping by the stream, it'll be linked down below. That one I will for sure remember, as well as my Patreon. If you want to be a supporter, you know, it's linked down below as well. And my Twitter, if you have any ideas, any name suggestions, some ride suggestions, anything that you want to help me out on, or even if you have like pictures of something that you would want built in this game, go ahead and send that to me as well. I'd appreciate it, because you know I have to do this all during stream, just looking at pictures of whatever style I'm trying to get. Sometimes I don't even do that. Sometimes I just go off the top of my head and see where it takes me. And honestly, I think that kind of works out in a way. And right now it's just all the smaller details, like cacti. Such a weird word, cacti. And I did place some trees also, because I didn't like, or I mean, it's not really not liking, but I do want some kind of trees. You can't go without, you know, any trees whatsoever. I think that looks a little off in a way. So yeah, I will be placing some trees here and there, as you can tell. Mainly, I mean, it's not going to be like anything like my past ones, so like it's not going to be full-on forests or, you know, stuff like that. It's just pretty much going to be here and there scattered around, with little dirt patches or grass patches underneath it, because it is a sandy little biome area, and you know, you want to sort of stick with that style. I might end up changing those trees a little bit, because I don't really think a birch tree kind of fits right there. So I don't know. I might go with a different colored one, maybe more lighter green, like much lighter green. And here's just some more of the little props that I wanted to get some decorations down and make it part of the theme of this look pretty good. And I kind of was trying right here to make it look like a little black hole that it was the carts were going into, and that's kind of hard to do, because the black is sort of off in a way, like the color, it just doesn't really match for some reason. And you'll see, I still like it regardless. I mean, see, it looks too two-dimensional, if that makes sense. But regardless, I like it. I like the way that it turned out. I like the ride. Everything about it seems to pop, and the ride is a pretty big hit, honestly. It's high on everything, I think, except for like nausea and, you know, stuff like that. I'll have it on the screen here for like maybe half a second or something, because I just take a glance at it and I can never see it whenever I'm looking over this while I do the voiceover. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and yeah, peace.